here's why 99% of drum teachers are wrong about foot twitching. They call it bad technique, but can't agree on what causes it, how to fix it, or even what it looks like. So let me show you what really happens and how I went from 130 to 180 BPM in less than 10 practice sessions. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Marthyn, founder of Marthyn's Drum Camp, where we do one thing only: help you master double bass drumming fast. So here's what happened to me. I was stuck at 130 BPM for the longest time, but then I stumbled across this weird ankle technique. I could replicate this fast, almost nervous twitching motion with my heel right here on the floor. Up, down, up, down. But when I moved back to the pedal, that's when things got interesting. The first thing I discovered is that I couldn't slow this motion down. It had its own tempo. The tempo was way faster than anything I'd played before. My right foot was suddenly comfortable at speeds that used to be impossible. But here's the thing. It was still twitching, still felt really chaotic. And most people would have stopped right there. This can't be right, they would think. But within just a few practice sessions, we're talking less than 10 sessions, I went from 130 to 180 BPM. That's a 50 BPM jump in a couple of weeks. And the secret? I learned to turn that twitching chaos into a controlled beta swing. Most people online will tell you that twitching is bad technique. But let's be honest, they can't even agree on what foot twitching is. So let's fix that. So here's a simple definition. Foot twitching is an uncontrolled, high-speed motion caused by a muscle misfire, most commonly from mixing muscle groups or fatigue. It usually happens when your body panics during faster tempos and basically says, let's throw everything we got onto the pedals. The result? Chaos. Now let's break this down and solve it once and for all. Starting with the biggest lie you've been told. Here's the truth. Twitching isn't a sign of failure. It's your nervous system's first attempt to figure out a new motion pattern under stress. It's a wake-up call, not a red flag. For me, the moment I realized this was when my tempo shot past 130 BPM, my old ceiling, by almost 50 beats per minute. The beta swing suddenly was consistent and I could play for long periods of time without wasting energy. And that's when I knew I was on the right path. But here's where it gets interesting. My original drum teacher told me this approach wouldn't work. He said, like most traditional teachers actually, that for every drumming technique you have to start extremely slow and only gradually work your way up the BPM ladder. Otherwise it won't work. And throughout my career, many other drummers also told me the same thing. And here's what actually happened. Within the first year of focusing on this approach, I surpassed my former teacher and all those drummers in speed, control, and endurance. So most drummers who tell you that you can only get fast by practicing slow for years on end, they either have no double bass skills themselves or they are at least not able to play at that level. If you are entering the 170 plus BPM zone and experience twitching, this is normal. With the right system, you can turn this twitch into controlled ankle technique fast. My friend, you are not broken. You just haven't trained the reflex yet. But here's where most people get stuck. They think the twitch is completely random and uncontrollable. Not true. Twitching when trying to learn the ankle technique is caused by a very specific problem. You're using the wrong muscle groups, especially your shin and your hip flexor. So here's what you need to get right in order to learn the ankle technique. Relax your upper leg. The weight of your leg must stay on the pedal at all times. For me personally, this weight on the pedal principle was actually quite obvious, but only because I learned it the hard way. When I first stumbled upon the ankle technique, I had completely exhausted my hip flexor muscle beforehand. So it was easy to relax my upper leg since that muscle group was completely fried. I was forced to focus only on my calves. Later, when I started teaching this technique to others, I noticed a clear pattern. Students who could relax their upper leg got outstanding results in extremely short period of time. We're talking faster than 180 in a matter of weeks. But the students who wouldn't let go of that upper leg tension, they struggled with the ankle technique big time and never broke through those speed barriers. So here's what I see happening. Some students can't believe it can be actually this simple. So they add in different muscle groups to get the beta swing going. They follow those made-up workout routines you find from drum teachers online nowadays. But the solution is actually quite simple. Relax your upper leg, focus on your calf muscle, and just focus on lifting and lowering your heel. That's it. That way you get constant feedback from the pedal and the returning beta. That feedback trains your calf muscle reflex, which is the key to control. If you play like this and suddenly activate your hip flexor and lift your leg off the pedal, you lose that feedback loop. This is exactly why all those made-up shin muscle exercises or lifting your foot off the floor drills you see online are useless, at least for this technique. And this is exactly where the bounce workout comes in. It teaches your calf to lift your heel rhythmically while your upper leg stays fully relaxed. With enough reps, the twitch smooths out and your foot starts playing in time. The ankle technique is not about brute force, it's about riding a wave. You don't create the speed, you catch it. The moment your heel lowers, right after the beta hits the bass drum head, there's a rhythm happening between your foot and the pedal. And once you find that rhythm, your job is to stay in it, not to push harder, but to stay relaxed and ride that wave of momentum. The great news is you don't need talent. All you need is a system. Every time you say, I need more speed, you're ignoring the real problem, precision. Speed without control is just noise. You need to isolate the right muscle, your calf muscle, and train it using rebound exercises like the bounce workout. And here's the irony. Once your technique is clean and your reflex is trained, speed shows up on its own. Now let's address one more old school tip you've definitely heard. Just start slow and gradually increase the tempo. Great advice for hand technique, but for double bass foot technique, not always. Here's why. Some foot techniques, like the ankle technique, actually don't work well at slow tempos. At low speeds, there isn't enough rebound or pedal feedback to train the reflex. The beta just hangs in space and your body gets no useful information. In neuroscience, this is called low signal feedback. Without that signal, you're just flailing around reinforcing bad habits. That's why with the ankle technique, you often need to start at mid-tempos like 150 to 180 beats per minute. That's when the pedal finally talks back. For most of our students in our drum camp, the most comfortable starting tempo is usually between 170 to 190 beats per minute. Think about it. When I first discovered this technique, I couldn't slow it down. It had its own natural tempo, and that tempo worked. If I had forced myself to start at 80 beats per minute like traditional teaching suggests, I would have missed the entire point. The rebound mechanism wouldn't have engaged. The reflex wouldn't have developed. Instead, I trusted the process and worked within the tempo range where the technique actually worked. So, no, it's not about forcing speed. It's about creating the right environment for the reflex to fire and develop. So what does this journey actually look like? So here's what actually happens when you train this correctly, focusing on the bounce workout. Week 1, your foot is twitching, but you're hitting tempos you never thought possible. It feels chaotic, but it works. Week 2 and 3, the twitching starts to organize itself. You begin to feel the rhythm in the chaos. Your calf muscle is learning the timing. And finally, week 4 to 6, the motion becomes smoother. What used to be a frantic twitch is now a controlled bounce. You can play for longer without fatigue. And that's actually when the technique locks in. Your foot moves with precision and power, and the speed that once felt impossible now feels natural. This isn't magic, it's neuroplasticity. Your brain is literally rewiring itself to control a new movement pattern. But here's the key. You have to trust the process during that twitchy phase. That's not failure, that's your nervous system figuring things out. Most drummers actually quit during week 1 because they think the twitching means they're doing it wrong. Don't be most drummers. Speaking of what most drummers do wrong, let me save you some time by addressing the most common mistakes I see. Trying to control the twitch too early. The twitch is information. Let it happen while you focus on the fundamentals. Relax your upper leg, calf engagement, weight on your pedals. Mistake 2. Mixing muscle groups. Your brain wants to help by recruiting every muscle it can find. Resist this urge. Calf muscle only. Upper leg has to be relaxed. Mistake 3. Practicing without feedback. If you're not feeling the beta rebound, you're not getting the information your brain needs. So make sure your leg weight is on the pedals at all times. Mistake 4. Giving up during the adaptation phase. The first few weeks will feel awkward. That's normal. Your nervous system is learning a completely new pattern under stress. Mistake number 5. Following generic double bass exercises. Most online exercises are designed to please the algorithm. They won't help with the ankle technique and might actually interfere with your progress. To get results, you actually just need one easy, simple workout routine. We like to call this one the bounce workout. The bounce workout is specifically designed to get started with the ankle technique. Stick with what works. Here's exactly how to approach your practice sessions. Your starting tempo should be between 150 to 190 BPM. Don't go slower. The rebound mechanism needs this tempo range to function properly. When it comes to the workout duration, 5 to 20 minutes per foot are more than enough. Start with 5 minutes, build it up gradually. This is an endurance exercise as much as a technique exercise. Please focus on the following things while practicing. Your upper leg has to be completely relaxed. Your calf muscle is doing all the work. Focus on lifting and lowering your heel in time. And the weight of the leg is always staying on your pedals. Just focus on the beta swing and feeling that beta rebound. As an extra tip, if you need more feedback from your pedals to develop a feel for the returning beta, then you can add 20 to 50 gram beta weights to your bass drum beaters. The goal here isn't to make it harder, it's to make the feedback clearer for your nervous system. Here's what this technique teaches you beyond just foot speed. The twitching phase teaches you that progress doesn't always look pretty at first. This applies to every aspect of drumming. When you nail the muscle isolation and feedback mechanism, speed becomes a natural byproduct. That initial twitch wasn't random, it was your nervous system's first attempt at a solution. Learning to work with your body instead of against it is a game changer. That's the important one. The start slow rule works for many drumming techniques, but not all. Learning to identify when to break the rules is part of mastering your instrument. This mindset shift from fighting your body's responses to working with them will transform not just your foot technique, but your entire approach to learning drums. So, next time your foot starts twitching, don't panic. You are not broken. You're just entering the next level of learning. Remember the 3 keys. Relax your upper leg, engage your calf, let the pedal give you feedback. Train that bounce workout until it locks in. The twitch isn't your enemy, it's your nervous system's first attempt at greatness. Remember to work with your pedals and not against them. My friend, you got this. I hope you found this useful. Cheers from Vienna. Bye bye.